Hello everyone and welcome back to Good Sport Reviews. If you are new around here, please make sure to hit like and subscribe for more stupid footballing content from myself. So, Liverpool still no closer to appointing the man who will take over the reins of the club following the departure of Jurgen Klopp. Every single day that ticks down, one name seems to get striked off the list, and the list gets shorter. Xabi Alonso, who's opted to stay in Bayer Leverkusen following their historic title win. Ruben Amorim, who has said that he will not be going Liverpool, but is supposedly in talks with West Ham United. That would be incredible for them should they be able to pull it off. So who do we go for? Every name under the sun is being linked with a move to Liverpool. Julian Nagelsmann, Hansi Flick, Thomas Tuchel, even Jose Mourinho is being linked with a move to the club after attending the Liverpool-Fulham match this past weekend. One name in particular who seems to have become the odds-on favourite to take over, and that is the FC Feyenoord manager, 45-year-old Arne Slot. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He is now the favourite, and he's one of those names that I'd not heard of. Same to the Ruben Amorim one. I'd heard bits, but until he was linked to Liverpool, I hadn't really looked into him. Arne Slot was linked with the Tottenham job last summer and was apparently set to become the manager before rejecting it at the last minute, opting to stay at FC Feyenoord until mid-2026, following the departure of Antonio Conte from Tottenham. I thought I'd look into his career, go through his managerial stints, go through his playing career a little bit, just to discuss the clubs he's been at, and just give my thoughts on his tactics as a whole, because it's not often that you get a lot of managers who have spent their entire career in the Dutch league. So I had to do some research, look into it, and here's my thoughts on it, similar to the Amorim video that I did a few weeks ago. So starting off with Arne Slot, he didn't actually become a full-time manager until 2019, despite the fact that he retired in 2013 from FC Zwolle. He joined the club's backroom staff before being promoted to the club's youth coach for a year, after which he became assistant coach at the club Camber. He became interim manager there following the departure of Rob Mass in 2016. However, despite this, he decided in 2017 that he wanted to pursue other ventures and left Camber to work as an assistant to John van den Brom, who won the Belgian League in 2012 with Anderlecht. During his first season in charge, following the departure of John van den Brom, he led AZ Alkmaar to second place in the Eredivisie, finishing only second behind Ajax on goal difference, and only because the league had been cancelled due to COVID-19 restrictions. It's impressive. That is impressive for a manager to compete against Ajax, who just one season before were in the Champions League semi-final against Tottenham and should have arguably gone through to face Liverpool in Madrid. Following his success that season with AZ Alkmaar, he signed a pre-contract to become Feyenoord manager. And this actually resulted in him being sacked from Alkmaar because the club felt that he wasn't focused on first team operations in the way he should be. A bit of a poor indictment on the man himself, not being able to focus on the job at hand. But yeah, it resulted in his termination from the club, and he joined Feyenoord the next season, despite the fact that he was averaging 2.11 points per game, the highest of any manager in AZ Alkmaar's history. He then went to Feyenoord, where he succeeded Dick Advocaat. You may remember him for being the former Sunderland manager a good few years ago, and he led the side to a third-place finish behind only Ajax and PSV. He also, in that season, reached the inaugural Europa Conference League final, losing 1-0 to Roma, to Jose Mourinho's Roma, to be more specific. It's funny how things all come round. In his second season, the following season from that one, his side actually won the Eredivisie, finishing 7 points ahead of Ajax and scoring an impressive 81 goals and only conceding 30 in 34 games, giving him a positive goal difference of 51. Not bad at all. And to be competing against Ajax, who've had a stranglehold over that league for the time that they did, is even more impressive. So clearly, Arne Slot has a very Dutch-centered career in that brief stint that we talked about. His whole playing career, his whole managerial career has been in that league, and this could be a part of the club's decision to hire him or not hire him. Jurgen Klopp spent his entire career in the Bundesliga, but I think there's a big gulf in quality between the Dutch league and the German league. No offense to the Dutch league. it can be viewed as a bit of a deterrent for clubs because he's not managed at a massive level. The Europa Conference League success is fantastic, and of course he's won the league and finished second in the league, but he's not managed at the highest stints. I know that's not a big criteria, but it's key for a side like Liverpool to have someone who has experience at the highest level come in and take over from Jurgen Klopp, who's won everything you can win in England. Next up, let's look at the tactics, the bread and butter of any manager that goes on every single CV. Now, we saw with Ruben Amorim when I did the video there that he would play a 3-4-3, and that's something that a lot of fans were excited about. Well, Arne Slot doesn't play anything like that. He instead operates with a 4-2-3-1 formation, that classic FIFA formation, and the base of the team is a double pivot, which is interesting. That's something that we've called for a few times this season, actually. And when his team go into a defensive shape, they go from the 4-2-3-1 into a 4-4-2 to provide cover for the central defense. He's a very pragmatic manager in that sense. Some people have compared the style to Marcelo Bielsa's because of his time at Leeds. The intensity, the constant pressure coming from the players is something a Jurgen Klopp team would know all about, and we discussed that again in the Ruben Amorim video. His side like to play out from the back, with the keeper often launching a long ball, aiming for the half space, and this allows attackers to make darting runs into the box where space is available to exploit, something which Darwin Nunez would absolutely love. Another thing to mention on the side is that Arne Slot does not pick players on merit. He picks them on training ground performances, which is something that a lot of managers in the past have been heavily criticised for, Brendan Rodgers being one in particular. If a player's not performing well on the training ground, they aren't playing for the team. And that's an interesting way to look at it, because a lot of people have said sometimes that Klopp can be too loyal to players. I beg to differ, but it's an argument there. And Arne Slot is known for this very strict approach when it comes to selecting his teams. As I mentioned before, the double pivot is a big part of this system. Now, the only problem with it is because of the high press, because of the fullbacks who like to move very sporadically in an Arne Slot system, his side is very exposed on the counter attack, and that's why he uses the double pivot to try and cover for those defensive frailties. It's a big part of the system for him looking for control in the midfield, but it can leave us exposed because they like to press. He wants his double pivot to press and press and press. Dominic Szoboszlai, Alexis McAllister, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott would benefit from this. The defence would not, and that's a big thing to keep in mind when we consider Slot as our next manager. In order to create space for versatile attackers ahead of them, i.e. Darwin Nunez, your Luis Diaz, if he's there, your Diogo Jota, your Mo Salah, if he's there, the double pivot will drop into the back line, creating central pockets of space through which they can progress play and allow for fullbacks to become inverted in the space. Trent would love this so much, giving him time on the ball to string together any pass he wants would be fantastic. And the wingers often come inverted, operating at times like number 10s, and will interchange to provide space for central attackers. Once again, Darwin Nunez would benefit from this, and Mo Salah could probably deal with this as well. He often cuts inside on his left foot. Having him in a central number 10 role to play alongside Nunez as an attacker would be very beneficial, and that's something we'll touch on in a moment. However, one issue with the style of play is if teams beat the press, there is plenty of open spaces for them to exploit, especially on the inside channels, with the fullbacks having to commit more than most to try and win the ball back ASAP and operate in an attacking sense. During his time at Alkmaar, 67% of crosses into the box came from his fullbacks. Trent and Robertson would enjoy this. However, defensive frailties are something that can be known for in this Liverpool team, and committing this far forward would cause problems at points. Arne Slot also wants his number 10 to be as involved with the attacking as possible, often playing alongside the striker, as I mentioned before, with the wingers. He likes everyone to be compact in the middle, inverting, creating plenty of chances for one another, giving the side another option in the box when they attack. But once again, it leaves gaps in behind. So it's a very high risk, high reward style of system that Arne Slot plays, which I honestly don't think too many Liverpool fans will be up for. As much as we've enjoyed Jurgen Klopp's style of gegenpress, heavy metal football, at points it can leave us frustrated. The lack of defensive structure, especially this season, we concede first in the majority of our games, is frustrating. And in recent seasons, we have been calling for a new manager following the departure of Klopp who can control tempo. That's the way the game's gone. Pep Guardiola has done that. Ruben Amorim, Xabi Alonso are perfect managers of doing this. We've seen this with Bayer Leverkusen. We've seen this with Sporting Lisbon. Arne Slot, while he's won the title in the Eredivisie, while he's finished second, while he did go a season only conceding 30 goals in 34 matches, this high risk, high reward system is reminiscent to Ange Postecoglou now. It's reminiscent to Klopp when he first joined. Bob Bradley at Swansea, we'll score four. Doesn't matter if we can see three, we'll score four. That's not necessarily how he operates, but it does seem that way based on what I've read, what I've looked into, what I've seen. And that's not something that I don't think Liverpool fans are going to be ready for yet. Whoever the new manager is who comes in, we're going to need them to win games. They're going to need to show a bit of defensive structure, because the minute we start conceding lots of goals, the minute you can see that we don't have a stable back line who's going to be able to defend correctly, we're not going to be able to compete for things, that's when fans will get a little bit impatient, I feel. And while we might respond well to the adventurous style of football, with the fullbacks doing as they please, getting into that space in the middle, we've seen with an Eric Ten Hag system, attackers push forward, defence drops back, big gap in midfield, exploited. The two central midfielders in the Arne Slot system will press and press and press. And as you said, they will drop back sometimes, creating deliberate central space. And that could be exploited, especially with the amount of times it's happened this season. We're deliberately allowing teams into that position. We could struggle. And while Arne Slot has only lost 2 games this season and is currently second in the Eredivisie, only 9 points behind PSV, is he the man to do it? He could be, but he's not the one that fans are crying out for. I think Liverpool fans are going to need someone who can get results quick. And Arne Slot, while he could do it with his style of football benefiting a lot of players, Darwin Núñez, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Szoboszlai, Salah, defensively, it doesn't sound too secure. And that's the big worry for me. I need to look into it more, but that's just my initial thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. This is just a quick little video, bit of research I've done. Do you think Arne Slot will be the next Liverpool manager? Would he be a good fit? Let me know in the comments, and please make sure to hit like and subscribe. 400 by the end of next month is the aim, so let's see if we can make that happen. Thank you very much, and I will see you all in the next video.